Good. All set. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Danvers Zoning Board of Appeals. We are now in session. I would ask first if you could silence any mobile devices or set them to vibrate so we're not interrupted during our meeting. I'm going to start with introducing our board members tonight. Down to my right is one of our alternates, Kevin Birch, Corrine Doherty, our clerk tonight, Mr. Ken Scholes, myself, Chairman John Bowner. To my left, Ken Jarvinen, Chris Dembowski, and another alternate that we just keep bringing back is Becky Kilborn. And from our planning department, our planning director is Mr. Brian Zakelli. Folks, I'll go over our procedure in a minute. Board members, we were in receipt of minutes dated May 11th. If I could please get a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
And could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Folks, we got a few cases on tonight, and a couple of continued cases as well. I just want to briefly go over how we run things. We are on Danvers Cable. We do ask if you're going to speak or present a case, you go up to the podium in the back, and please speak as clear as you can into the microphone for both the people at home and our ability to take good minutes. Announce your name and your address if you're speaking as a neighbor. After the clerk reads the case into the record, we'll ask you to go up and present what it is you'd like to do. From there, we'll turn it back over to the zoning board. The zoning board will ask questions of the applicant. At that point, once we've completed all our questions, we'll open it up for public questions or comment. And once we close that portion of the meeting, we will come back and deliberate. We do ask that we're not interrupted during deliberations, that you don't speak out, and you can hear how the board is deciding to vote on your case, and we'll give you your options from there. So with that said, we have a unique situation tonight where three of us have to recuse ourselves from the first case. So at this point, Corrine Doherty, our clerk, Mr. Ken Scholes, and myself will step aside, and acting chair will be Becky Kilborn down the end, and we'll clerk that case with Mr. Chris Dembowski. And with that said, we'll pass it off to you guys.
Go ahead.
First on the agenda, 8 Fairview Street, located in the R3, map 30, lot 24, requests a variance under section 7, table 2, table of dimensional requirements to permit the construction of a single-family home on a 10,000 square foot lot where 30,000 square feet is required. The applicant also seeks an appeal of the building commissioner's denial of permit R-26-72 related to the construction of a single-family home at this location. The request is made by 8 Fairview Street LLC, care of Jason A. Panos, Esquire, docket 26-5136.
And I understand we're in receipt of a continuance.
We were in receipt of a letter for a continuance in regards to this to be scheduled for the next scheduled meeting at June 22nd, 2026.
Okay, I understand Mr. Panos is here.
Yes, good evening. For the
Good
record,
evening. I mean, typically, I'm just going to say that typically we would go through your presentation, but I know that you came tonight, and typically with a continuance, we wouldn't have you speak.
Right.
But I know you came tonight in case any of us have a question, so I'm going to let you say a few words.
correct. So I'm simply going to say for the record, my name is Jason Panos at 246 Andover Street, Peabody, Massachusetts. I am simply here in the event you've reviewed the materials and have any questions I can prepare answers for the continued hearing on June 22nd, but I fully anticipate that you will not open your hearing tonight and take any substantive testimony, so I really don't want to delve into that. But if you do have any questions, maybe tonight is not the time to even jot them down, but maybe you can pass them through Mr. Zakelli, and
We'd be glad to do that through legal counsel and
Sure.
through Mr. Sigelli if we have questions.
That'd be
And I'll
perfect.
just poll the board if anybody has anything that they'd like to ask at this point. Otherwise, we're going to continue for 2 weeks, and we'll hear his full presentation then.
Yes.
I don't have anything to ask.
You all
Thank
set? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything right now.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm all set as well. Thank
Okay.
you.
And me too. I'm sorry, we're not going to open the hearing tonight. It'll be 2 weeks, okay?
I just have a question about that. Will a new abutters notification go out with the new date for any people in the neighborhood who aren't here this evening and aware that you're rescheduling?
So
Brian,
this is
you
a
can
very good
answer.
Question. So this happens all the time where petitions get continued. No community does what you're talking about, although many people feel they should.
Okay.
But there is that, so what you do is you check the agenda, but it has been, or it will be on 7 PM on the 22nd.
Okay, so
Um,
we'll just make sure we notify our
And-
neighbors.
Yes, and anyone who talks to the neighborhood, just say, always, look online to the town hall, to the town website and the agenda for that night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And, yeah, on the website, now that it's there, okay.
Thanks.
All right, so I have a motion to continue. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Do you have a motion?
we have to-
You
there's
you
no
do not have a
motion.
motion?
Oh, I am sorry. Go ahead.
Madam
Need a
Chair,
motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to continue this matter until our next meeting on the 22nd of June.
Okay.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We'll
Great.
see you in 2 weeks.
See you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
People here. What'd they say?
Well, I stand corrected.
That was
six-
the-
That was 6 minutes.
It's the big, I know, huh? That was the big draw tonight.
No, I just look. It says 7:06, and I was like, nothing lasts 5 minutes in this place. So. And by that I mean Earth, by the way, not Danvers.
Okay, folks, we're going to move on now to our first continued case. Mr. Clerk, if you could read that in.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next case is 154 and 170 Water Street, map 67, lots 001 and 001A. Request for a modification for the special permit docket 23-5012, submitted by New England Home for the Deaf / Wind Development Company for properties at 154 and 170 Water Street, respectively, by replacing special permit conditions number 5. Section preference shall be given to Danvers residents in perpetuity, end quote, with the condition 5, second preference shall be given to Danvers residents during the initial lease-up period, subject to HLC approval, end quote, in conformance with fair housing guidelines and regulations, docket 23-5012.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. With me tonight is Steven Senna from Wind Development. Also with me tonight is Steve Sacco from New England Home for the Deaf. I don't know if Mr. Zacchelli wants to say anything about this first, and then I'll speak, or I'll go first.
I'd like to hear from you. I'll go to Mr. Zacchelli as part of our questions. How about
Okay,
that?
very good, thank you. We have requested a modification of condition number 5 of the special permit relative to the New England Home for the Deaf Wind development at 154 Water Street and 170 Water Street. You'll recall that this project was approved a few years back, and a number of conditions were put on that approval by this board. And as we have proceeded forward toward getting financing and working with HLC, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, that's the state agency, it has been brought to our attention and to the town's attention that the condition number 5, which states a second preference shall be given to Danvers residents in perpetuity, is in violation of the federal fair housing laws as well as Massachusetts fair housing guidelines. The reason for that is simply that it is believed by the by the federal regulations as well as by the state that such a condition can result in discrimination. And so we had a rather lengthy, productive meeting, conference by Zoom with Danvers Town Council, myself, Mr. Zakelli, and 3 representatives from HLC at the state level to discuss this condition. And it is certainly the state's preference to eliminate local preference entirely. However, they were in agreement with the proposed condition that we are requesting this evening, which is to replace the second preference to Danvers residents in perpetuity with a condition that the second preference shall be given to Danvers residents during the initial lease-up period, subject to the HLC approval. And as some of you may know, HLC has to approve the marketing plan and for the development, and whether conditions are violate state or federal regulations also impacts financing and funding for the project. So we are requesting that this condition of a second preference, and you'll recall the first preference for this project is going to individuals who are deaf or deaf-blind. Which was really it's on the campus of New England Home for the Deaf. That was the purpose of this development. It's a development for over 55. First preference to deaf and deaf-blind, second preference to Danvers residents, and we would request that be during the initial lease-up period, which the state has told us that would be acceptable.
So basically, remove in perpetuity and add during lease-up period.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
All
Thank
right,
you.
and before I go to the board, I'm going to hear from our planning director. So Brian, any more you want to add to that?
The only thing I agree with everything that was just said. The only thing that I would add was that I think the original solution was some type of deed rider that would be added on. Our town council and HLC didn't think that that would actually fix the problem because there's a decision with this condition that's at the registry that needs to be modified. So they felt that this was one of 2 solutions, but by far the belt and suspenders approach.
And Attorney McCann, thank you, Brian. And just before I turn this over for questions, so this would be an adjustment and be recorded at the Registry of Deeds, and you won't be back before us unless HLC changes their mind again.
I will not be back before you. That is correct with regard to the special permit. However, what we have just recently realized is that the variance, there was a dimensional variance for this case as well. That also had this condition number 5 in it. The variance decision, for one reason or another, took all of the conditions of the special permit and simply repeated them in the variance. And we didn't pick up on that. So we will most probably be back to you to say, remember when we asked for the special permit condition change, we'd like that same change in the variance. So I don't want to misrepresent that I will not be
So
back
we're
before
only
you.
changing the special permit right now, but you feel the variance is going to also need the same change because the language is the same.
Exactly right.
I got it right?
Yes, you do, sir.
Kind of
Today.
a weird one.
You do.
Right now?
Yes.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. All right, we'll start down there with you, Kevin. Questions?
Good evening. Is the project permitted right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay, thanks.
Fully permitted, yes.
Only question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Corinne?
I have several questions. Starting with, who exactly did the HLC contact from when? And I guess, how is it triggered? You've already gone through your funding phase. This, I guess, application was in front of us 3 years ago.
Yes.
So I just don't understand how all of a sudden, 3 years later, they're looking through it, and now all of a sudden they have an issue with one of the preferences. So I'm just curious to find out how they contacted you and what exactly was said to whoever the WIN representative was who fielded the call.
I'm going to ask the WIN representative to answer that question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Steve Senna with Wind Development. Excuse the voice tonight, fighting some allergies like think a lot of us.
Fighting the same thing.
I am too, so we all understand.
Happy to chat after the meeting about any solutions, home remedies. In any case, so the process, although more stretched out than we anticipated, and frankly, that has been the case historically, has played out the way it normally does, which is after an initial application to the state, where the state makes an award of state low-income housing tax credits and federal low-income housing tax credits, the actual process of then filling out the rest of the capital stack has to play out. And the most significant player outside of the tax credit portion of the capital stack for these affordable housing projects is typically a quasi-public agency, and in this case, it's Mass Housing. Mass Housing is issuing bonds, tax-exempt bonds that provide the permanent financing for the project. And it's that underwriter and that process that asks a lot of hard questions to be able to prepare a prospectus that goes out to investors who will buy the bonds for the project. They asked questions to try to get out ahead of a question that they knew would eventually come up based on their experience doing, dozens, hundreds of these affordable housing tax credit projects at some point in the balance of the closing. So one of the first things that's happening is the Mass Housing underwriting. The last few things that are happening is the final legal documents that secure all these state subsidies through various typically what they call soft debt. And that includes the final approval of two very important documents, the Affordable Fair Housing Marketing Plan and the Tenant Selection Plan. And those documents are required for any of these affordable housing projects that are being regulated by the state. There are some projects that are just regulated by a local community. This is regulated by the state because it's being subsidized with state funding. And so Mass Housing called this out as a potential concern. They had not seen a project like ours be committed, have a commitment to a local preference in perpetuity, and asked us the question, are you sure the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities is going to accept that? And we said, well, we'll get in touch with them and confirm it. I think my initial expectation was that because it's a second preference, in a way it's a softer in perpetuity. In fact, if there's enough demand from people who are 55 or older, deafblind, or hard of hearing, there's a potential, and those people are coming from all over the state, then there's a potential that you're never, those people could also be Danvers residents, but there's a potential you're never drawing down on the second preference, that second wait list. So not knowing entirely what to expect and having not done all the legal research that would follow, my hope, my expectation was that because this was a second preference, would be a non-issue. And the deeper we got into it with HLC and their legal counsel, they came out very strongly that in their view this was a fair housing issue and that it needed to be fixed. And so we reached out to the planning department and involved town council. That's how we ended up here tonight.
Well, so it seems to me that part of the issue here is that you're going for public financing. And that's why, I guess, you came on the radar, because they were viewing these documents. Typically, that doesn't happen unless there are this funding in place. But I thought your funding was done 2 years ago and last year. So you're still continuing on with financing? In other words, all the financing isn't completely set yet?
So it's to state it to.
Are you trying to be delicate and say that the state is kind of
very
tough?
cumbrous,
Yes.
very cumbersome, lengthy process, and for a good reason. These are state dollars being used to finance privately owned real estate development projects, and that announcement. So just for the people who aren't aware, was made, I think, in June of 2024. Actually at the property, at the campus of New England Homes for the Deaf, by the governor. And I think there were maybe 12 other projects that were awarded at that time. The state then, so now you're in the queue, and what the state hasn't told you, you're an approved project, is when you plug into their queue and which of their, let's say there are 20 different buckets that they can draw from to finance affordable housing projects. Where you fit in the queue, you've been awarded in '24, but are you going to be scheduled to close and start construction in '25 and '26, '27? And which sources are they going to draw down from to fund your project? And that's what we've been waiting on, as Steve knows. And, weekly discussions internally and monthly discussions externally, this is the challenge, to figure out what the timeline is and the state strategy for funding the project. So, given how stretched out that financing process is, unlike a typical private sector development where maybe there's only one investor and one commercial bank, and that underwriting is playing out over 3 months. You're talking about underwriting that's playing out off and on over 3 years in this case.
Oh, no, it's a tough process. And I guess what confuses me is that when it comes to affordable housing, this HLC wrote the regs that go along with all of this, like affordable housing and fair housing, and they do allow preferences, and they do allow preferences if you can document that it's needed in your community, which at our meeting, it was the Danvers Housing Authority who stated, we have a list, we have a lot of community members who would qualify, and we definitely have a need for this kind of housing. So I don't understand why they now say, well, local preferences, that's discriminatory, because they wrote the regs. To me, I just don't get it. I really don't.
It's only the in perpetuity that is a concern for HLC.
Well, again, removing the in perpetuity, I guess we can certainly go along with that. We don't want to hold up your financing. You've certainly waited long enough for that. What I'm more concerned about is the phrase that comes after it with HLC approval. They literally have approval over every process, and that approval process is not defined in those regs. So if you attach that, what does that mean for you? That should a Danvers resident qualify, whether it's because of a disability or an affordable, need, do they have to go through another process that's not defined? They can't even handle what they do define, let alone what they don't define. So I think it's very vague, and I'm kind of leery about that. Not so much about removing the in perpetuity, even though I really think, this was done in conjunction with the Danvers Housing Authority. I don't even know if they've been notified, and I wish that they actually had like a representative here to kind of give us their opinion on all of this. But again, I'm not as concerned about the in perpetuity as the clause they want to add after it.
The subject, just so I'm clear, the subject to HLC approval?
Yes. And again,
yeah.
I know what you're going to say. Well, they have to approve everything, and
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree with that.
It's a little unfair.
Right, but you already have to comply with everything else by adding that in, unless you want to qualify it, subject to approval per the regulations or something, so it doesn't give them carte blanche or doesn't impose an additional step on you to get some Danvers resident additionally qualified.
Well, there's no Danvers resident who's going to be excluded. So just to talk about the specifics here, if we play out the balance of this process, WIN will continue marching along with both its private partners, investors, and tax credit buyers, and the various public entities toward a financial closing, hopefully soon, hopefully this summer. Before that closing happens, and that closing needs to happen before we can start construction, the Affordable Fair Housing Marketing Plan and the tenant selection plan, two things work together, need to be finalized, and these are
I'm very
standard
familiar with
forms.
all of these documents.
That's right. And so that what that clause or phrase at the end of the revised condition is referring to is simply that process. When, and this is for the protection of the town and the town's residents and the public at large, Wynn doesn't have the ability, the right, to draft a tenant selection plan that works best for us. I mean, make up a reason that skips a step or two because it saves us a few dollars. This is a plan that you have to draft and you submit to the state, and that the state has to reviews it and approves it. So that's the intent of the process, to make sure that process is done right and consistent with
Well, again, I guess if you're comfortable with it, I would prefer some sort of qualifier to it. To me, it just seems very open-ended,
Yeah.
and again, gives them sort of the right to impose themselves when they might not be with anyone in a similar situation to your applicant or your application.
I personally don't think, I think that's implied, that the HLC approval, these
Oh, no,
these are
again,
state employees.
they approve every single step
Yeah.
along the way.
That these HLC employees, these staff folks, have an obligation to enforce the regulations. They don't have, they're not making an independent judgment, one tenant selection plan after another. They have to review the
Yeah.
tenant selection plan in the context of the existing regulations. I think that's implied, but if additional language would make the board more comfortable, we'd certainly have no objection to that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Corinne. Ken?
Well, I was going to ask when is potential ground break, but after hearing that, who knows? So I guess I don't have any other questions.
Thanks, Ken. Ken J.
I have no questions.
Chris?
I'm all set, thank you.
I have a few. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's Attorney McCann or gentleman who's up there now. So what's the lease-up period? Is that defined? The lease-up period?
Yes, just the initial lease-up. So
Wait, is
through
that
the
Is that a set length of time?
No.
It's not.
Well, in our case, we're hoping it's within 6 months. But it's a function of every unit being leased for the first time.
Okay.
Yep.
And refresh me, because it is 3 years ago, and I remember a lot, but not this much. How many units are we adding, or are you hoping to add to this property?
116.
One more time?
116.
We were approved at 100.
And those were all counted as affordable on our housing
This is
count, correct?
That's a very important question, and this is,
Yeah. And Attorney Kim, maybe this is for you. Has DHA been notified of this change? Danvers Housing?
No, they have not been notified of this. This is an application on behalf of New England Home for the Deaf with Wind Development as the developer selected by the Danvers Housing
And
Authority.
so we don't feel this will trigger anything different in their process on what they do?
Oh, I absolutely do not. They are looking for housing,
Well,
generally speaking.
I mean, this might be more on the comment side, but kind of echoing what Corinne said, it just seems a little disingenuous that HLC kind of is the judge, jury, and executioner here, but yet we can't get them to put anything on paper. I don't get it.
That's why we had the conference call that we did with your town council present, and Mr. Zakelli was present, and we were present during that, because we did ask for something in writing, and their response, and town council, I think, agreed with this, is the state doesn't put things like that in writing. They just don't.
But yet they could come back and
But-
say this is discriminatory at
Yes.
some point.
Yes, absolutely right.
don't
But
know.
we're
Doesn't-
very comfortable based on that meeting, and there were three representatives from HLC, including their counsel, at that meeting, that the language that we have proposed during the initial lease-up period, subject to HLC approval, that approval will be given. They did not hesitate on that.
Well, I don't think you have an answer for this one, but I'll ask it anyway. So is there another scrub of this document that's going to unfold some new language issue that they don't like?
I certainly do not think so. We have gone through the process with them, we've gone through the conditions, and this is the one. This, when you talk about fair housing and you talk about potential discrimination, those are real triggers. And that was, it was just kicked back for that and said, your marketing plan, if it includes this language as written, will not be approved.
And
Period.
I guess lastly, Corinne also pressed on this a little bit. So we want this to say lease-up period as determined by HLC?
No.
Or we can withdraw that piece of it?
Well, no, it's not the lease-up period determined by HLC. It is, second preference shall be given to the Danvers residents during the initial lease-up period, subject to HLC approval.
The
Well,
subject to HLC approval, that's the part I want to dive into a little. Is there a way to modify that? Or do we not want to modify that? Can we modify it?
Sure.
So if I were to elaborate on what that is talking about, it's HLC's role in reviewing and approving affordable fair housing marketing plans and tenant selection plans. There's really two documents that work together. Without their approval of that, these units do not end up on the SHI. Units end up on the subsidized housing inventory only when HLC approves them as state-regulated affordable units.
So I guess it's advantageous to us to
For
have
sure.
this language.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Board members, any additional questions?
Just
from
one.
the Board. Yeah.
Just one.
Go ahead, Corinne.
How is it okay to discriminate only during the lease-up period, but we can't discriminate after that? Like,
I don't get that
again, it's just absurd to make those comments. And how is it discrimination if you're giving a preference to the community in which the housing is located in? And I'm sure they told you, well, it violates this, that, and the other thing, but we're not going to tell you why, and we're certainly not going to put why in writing. So again,
Makes no
to
sense.
me, it's just, it doesn't seem fair to the community that is going along with the project, to me, anyway. And I know, I certainly don't want you to lose your financing, and I don't want to screw up this project. I think the fact that you have such lofty goals, 80% of the deaf and hearing impaired community, again, like your marketing plan has to take that into consideration. Again, that's a preference. Do they have a problem with that preference? Is it only the, the affordable and the residents of Danvers that they don't like? I don't know. But it just, to me, it just doesn't seem fair. And it seems that for whatever reason, they don't like these preferences now. Maybe a lot of communities are adding them and they want to get rid of them. And this is how they're doing it.
Did they elaborate on that piece of it at all?
I will try to elaborate on some of it, because I had similar questions to what you're saying. And I said, how is this discriminatory? And what I've discovered from not only my research, but the conversations, is the federal fair housing regulations look at this as potentially discriminating because of the demographic of the community. We have a demographic that is predominantly white, let's say. And if you give preference to the community in perpetuity, you are giving preference to a particular demographic based on, let's say, race. And just because of the demographic of the community. That's where they're getting it. Do I agree with it? Do I not agree with it? I don't know, but I'm not the one making the decision. That's where the federal fair housing regulations come in and say giving a local preference can result in discrimination. And that's why they don't allow it. Now, why they allow preference during the initial ramp up? I can't answer that one. But I asked, well, you can probably answer it, but I'm going to say I asked the question several times during the conference call that we had, and it was basically we can live with that with an initial ramp-up preference. 2, is it because unwritten anywhere it's a recognition of the community? maybe that's it. But they won't go beyond the initial ramp-up. So that's the answers that I can give you.
And I also have to say, and I'm not sure if you reviewed them, the regulations that include the preference, there's no limitation on what those preferences are, as long as your community can show that there's a need for that housing. So again, they wrote the rules, they don't like them now, so they're changing the rules.
And we're trying to work with them as
No, I
as
know,
possible.
I know, I
We
know.
understand that.
Everyone has to work with them.
We get that part.
This
We're
is
just, I think
this is
our
a really
pushback
good
is-
project that we would have wanted shovel in the ground a long time ago.
Yeah, I just think our pushback, again, we didn't ask for this condition. This was the Danvers Housing Authority. This wasn't the zoning board that asked for this. So that's the other thing that kind of caught us off guard. It's like, this wasn't a request that came from us. This was DHA that put this.
And the change that we're here before you tonight is not coming from us either.
Right, so
It's something that.
we're all, like,
well,
caught in the
we're all
crossfire
trying to
here.
work
Yeah.
together to
Yeah.
get this project.
All right, I'm going to go out to the public. If there's anybody here that would like to be heard on 154 and 170 Water Street. Yeah, go ahead up. I'll go here first.
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1, if I could through you. Was it perpetuity that triggered this, or could they have inserted for 5 years, or 10 years, or 15 years, as opposed to in perpetuity?
I will
10 minutes.
try to answer that, but maybe I'll let Attorney McCann answer that. I believe it is the fact that it's just perpetuity.
Well, that's what the initial trigger was.
Yes.
But then in the conversations, it was, they really don't allow any time frame other than they
Lease.
can live with the initial lease-up. And what the initial lease-up means is for the first tenant into
Of each
each of
unit,
those units.
Of those 116
We
units.
can offer and will offer Danvers residents the second preference.
Does that answer your question?
Yes and no. The other question, as far as being discriminatory, is a U.S. citizen, if you excuse that, are they
So-
being discriminated?
We're
I
not
can't
here to
answer.
talk about what the state is doing. It's just not relevant.
Yeah. It's really a,
I'm only asking it because
HLC
it's in the,
decision.
But they can't defend the state's decision, is all I'm trying to say.
Right.
The applicant or the town, we're not here, we
none
can't
of us,
defend
we're
the
all kind
state's
of in the dark,
decision.
I'm only
unfortunately.
asking because I read about it in the newspaper, and it seems to be on some people's mind.
Sure.
I read it, so I thought I would at least ask.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, go ahead. Identify yourself and head up to the podium, please.
Hello, my name is Bernie Mizwa, and I live at 27 North Shore Ave. Okay, and my question is, well, now we settled one thing, it's a racial issue. Okay, so now we got that issue out of the way. But what I want to know is,
Well, hold on, let me stop you there. It's not a racial issue.
it is if somebody determines who has to get, let me say this, if we have two, and so I'd like to know, after these 160 units are filled or whatever, there has to be a list of people that are in line to come on board to get the next available unit. Is that correct?
As far as I know, but that would all be handled through the Housing Authority.
Well, who's the TLC or the SPCA or whoever this group is that came in here? Who are those people?
That's the state agency.
The state agency.
The state agency that does what? Determines who can move into a residence?
I'm
Or
gonna-
what
I'm-
color person can move into a residence?
Hold on now, sir. Hold on. Don't attack me. I'm here. I'm
All
on
right.
your side. I'm going to let the attorney try to answer your question.
Step right up.
I'm not sure what the question was.
The question is, so you're trying to understand HLC and what their function is in choice.
Their function is to approve the marketing plan for this project. And the marketing plan includes how how the units are advertised for rent, and how the lottery process is handled, how the preferences are reviewed, and it's a general, It's not selecting who is going to go in. It is not selecting races. It's not selecting any of that. It's making sure that the plan, as it's laid out, does not discriminate.
Okay, thank you, Attorney McCann. Additional questions?
Yeah. What happens when these 160 units, is there going to be a list of some way to, in other words, if there's a unit that comes available,
Yes.
and someone from Missouri, a black person from Missouri would like to come here to get this place, and there's a person from Danvers, an elderly person that needs to go into this house, who determines that? This USC or SBCA or whoever these people are?
No.
Or does this, or does,
It's Danvers Housing Authority, as
Well,
far as I know.
It's a lottery.
It's a lottery system.
The initial, yeah, I
Sorry,
mean.
hold on.
I-
We'll have too many people
yeah,
speaking
lottery?
at once.
Well,
Let me
I-
hear from Mrs. Kelly first, and I'll put you up. Go ahead.
I don't even know where to begin, only because this is immaterial to what is going on. What's going on is that the state, the house, which is the HLC, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, they're involved in the fair marketing plan. They're also involved in the financing of the project. That's why they even have a say to begin with, because there's state financing involved. So that's why they have, they have a hand in this. They're saying, we're not going to approve it unless you make this change, essentially. And our town council, their council, and the developers agree that this change makes sense. That's where we are. We're not here to defend the state. We're not here to defend the developer. We're here to
Change the language.
We're here to change the language to approve, to essentially bless a project that's already been approved by this board.
Right, so this isn't, we're not setting a determination on who's renting units. That's not being done. This document's just basically taking out some language that they didn't like so this applicant can move forward. Do I have that correct?
well, that draws back to the fact of Danvers residents in perpetuity.
Again, that's not, we're not here to debate who's getting these units. We're here
Okay.
to just modify language.
Okay,
The selection process will be handled by a lottery system through Danvers Housing Authority. Danvers.
Okay.
The town of Danvers.
all right. My last question.
Sure.
Since this project was brought up back 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, I have no idea how long ago it is.
About 4 years, yep.
Why wasn't that that notice in perpetuity an issue back then?
Well, we just went over this. It was because of a review process that happened throughout these last 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's why. So
Yeah, so it's a
we're-
change,
We're,
it's a-
the same as you. We were kind of questioning, hey, why
Yeah.
now?
So back then it was
They
okay,
explained.
but then along the way, somebody somewhere
At the
decided
state
to
level
At
said,
the state level decided to
"No,
change
we're
it.
not going to give you financing. We're not going to let this project go through unless you modify the language in the document."
And I understand completely why that is.
Okay.
Have a nice night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else from the public? Yes, Mr. Bradstreet. And yes, for the record, your name again, please.
Again, Bill Bradstreet, town meeting member, Precinct 1. If this developer funded this project on his own without the state's funds, would this be treated any differently?
Yeah, it would never have gotten built because more than 50% of this is deed-restricted affordable housing that doesn't frankly get built without low-income housing tax credits in Massachusetts or really anywhere else in the country.
Even if
It's a
they,
sad fact.
if they built half of 160 units, if they built 70 units and started with that, and then a couple of years down the line, added some more units like other projects do?
Well, it's a hypothetical, but
I understand, I
It
understand, but I'm
just
just,
doesn't math.
listen, we already passed this test 3 years ago. We just trying to get
so,
this answer changed, I guess.
so the
So we
town is
get it.
stuck,
We went
as
from an
is
A
the
minus to trying to get
developer,
an
huh?
A.
So we're stuck, as is the developer, with some
We're going to change
entity,
this language, and that's how this project's going to go forward.
some mythical body
Until the
is,
state changes their mind again.
again. Again.
All right, I'm going to close the public side of the hearing, and
Could I ask,
if you can, if there's anything, yeah.
could I ask one more question before we
Sure, yeah.
move to
I have one more,
The
too.
attorney?
deliberation? Yeah, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, ma'am. So if the board were not to approve the change in language tonight, what would, I guess, like, I'm thinking 2 and 3 steps down the road, right? So you would presumably submit your marketing plan and the other plans you have to submit. Would that force the state to then go on record and formally disapprove and tell you why they disapprove, rather than kind of play this game where they won't commit to their logic? And I understand why. They're essentially making a disparate impact argument, and those are a little tenuous, right? They're not saying that you've discriminated on the face of what you've written, but there's potentially a disparate impact. So if we don't approve this, would that just force them to go on the record with what their objection is?
I don't think that would be really how it would work. I think what we would have to do is appeal the denial of the modification. And I don't believe that the town would be in a good position on that appeal. And that would be money spent and all of that. So I think that, unfortunately, that's what would have to happen, because the appeal period is 20 days, and we're not going to get anything reviewed by the state in 20 days. So we would have to appeal, and that would be truly unfortunate.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
I have one other question.
shoot.
If I may. I don't agree that it's the Danvers Housing Authority. Isn't it like some sort of charity picked by the state that runs these lotteries?
Yes, it is. I don't believe it's the Danvers Housing
No, it's not. Okay, I'm
Authority
sorry.
specifically, but Steve can speak to that.
You can only build it in Danvers, but we have nothing else to do with it, right?
Exactly,
That's what I'm hearing.
exactly.
This lottery process is, as a function of these documents that we've talked about, the Affordable Fair Housing Marketing Plan, tenant selection plan, is a highly regulated, very carefully executed process by professionals, compliance people who do this all the time.
Yes, I have dealt with them
Yeah.
before, that's why
So,
I'm saying. Yeah,
Open the envelope. It's like counting votes. That's how sacred this process is. It's really,
Yeah.
really very,
they
very
can't get
important
the
process that it
language
be done
Yeah,
well and
exactly.
fairly. Yeah.
exactly. Well, good luck, because does that mean if you have 50%, that you have to get all 50% through the lottery?
Sorry, I don't.
You said you're going to have 50% of the units are going to be affordable. So does that
Yes.
mean, at least during the initial, all 50% have to be selected through that lottery process?
I'm not sure I follow. Those affordable units have a affordability restriction
Right.
tied to their financing, which is, depending on the financing source, 40 to 50 years.
No.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
So it's not just the initial lease-up
The
period.
council is
no,
suggesting the answer is yes.
I get that.
The answer is yes. It's
Okay.
The affordable units
Is
go
all-
through the lottery.
So all 50,
Yeah.
Yes.
50%. So if
Correct.
you're talking 116, that's what, that's 58 of these units during the initial period, all have to go through
Yes.
that.
Not
Yes,
just the
okay.
initial, so to get in one
I-
of those, it's for 50 years, they have to go through that lottery.
Right,
There's a
right.
lottery,
Right.
that's how you get it into any
Yep.
of these units is through a
Right.
lottery.
Yeah.
The lottery becomes a wait list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
It's still a lottery 40 years from now. It's
No,
still, it's not merit-based.
I get all that, but you can actually keep the list. So let's say someone moves out a year later and they had one of the affordable units, you can call someone else on the list and they could take the unit?
The waiting list is a live document.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
that's,
is how-
that's.
So they're held on
interesting.
that list.
Yes.
First come, first serve off of that wait list.
Okay.
And I just want to take a second to point out, this is not unique to this project.
Yeah.
Any of the projects that this board has approved,
Oh,
which
no,
has
yes.
affordable
Same process,
units,
yeah.
has to go through the lottery process, has to go
Yes.
through the review of the marketing plan, has to do all of that with the state
Median
involvement.
income and all
So
this,
this lottery and all of that is not unique to this project.
Yes.
This project is unique because we have 50% affordable.
Right.
That's unique.
What I do feel bad for are the people that have to go through this for one unit, right?
That's exactly right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I'd like to wrap this up. Do you
Well,
have
I-
anything
I
you
have
want?
one-
you-
I have one more.
All right.
I'm
Ken.
sorry.
Shoot.
So you just touched upon the waiting list with the lottery. So say if someone you have the waiting list, and then there's like 50 people on it or whatever. Then none of them are deaf-blind. But then you have like the 51st person is deaf-blind, then it opens up. Does that deaf-blind person get first preference?
Yes.
They
Okay,
would
good.
leapfrog to the
Yep.
front.
Good, because that's what this is
That
all
was
about.
the
That's right.
idea of this, right? Yeah.
We shouldn't get lost
That's
with
the
that.
first criteria.
That's correct.
That was all part of the first application, correct?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
all in the language of both
And
the
that's the
variance
first preference.
and the special permit.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm going to close this. I'm just going to give you a chance. Is there anything you want to add before we deliberate? Because I'm
No, I-
not going to take any more conversation.
I think we're all set.
We're
Thank
good.
you. Yes.
Okay. Corinne, deliberations, please.
I have to say, I'm not happy about this. I have had not great interaction with that HLC. I don't think that this is discriminatory, and I would love to take this all the way up as far as we can get, but I will not do that to you. I think this project is worthy, and I will vote yes, but I don't like this at all. I want to be on record for saying that.
Thank
Okay.
you, Corinne. Ken?
I'll vote for the language change as well. But I find it a little disconcerting that we have to, I don't want to say it inappropriately, that we have to basically cower down to this. Because like you said, if we vote no, you're going to have to appeal. So basically, we're putting you in a tough situation if we say no to this. I hate changing special permits, I hate changing variances that are already on record. We already went through all this. We did a site visit to your project. It's a little disconcerting that we have to cower down to say yes to this, but I will say yes.
Thank you, Ken. Ken J.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'd vote for it. I think the second preference language, like the gentleman said, the second preference would maybe never get utilized anyways, most likely. As we really, ideally, you'd want a deaf-blind person from Danvers, but we may never get there. So deaf-blind first, obviously, and that's what it's all about, so, yeah.
Thank you, Ken. And Chris?
I would vote in favor.
Thank you, Chris. I would echo a lot of both what Ken Schulz and Corinne Doherty have said. I just find this, kind of changing the rules midstream. I don't like it. Brian's heard from me off the record about this. The fact that you're going to have to come back, it sounds like, and do this again with us. And we can't even get a state agency to put it in writing what they don't like. And, this is being done, and this project was approved through this board because it was going to be a benefit to the town of Danvers. I don't know where discrimination comes in for that. If not, you would have done this project in some other town. So, I hope what Ken says is accurate, that this is mostly filled by people that really can use the services over there that come along with it. So maybe this is a moot point, but I just really don't like the fact that HLC comes in the 11th hour and changes the rules. And they hold up your funding and they hold up everything. It just seems very unfair. I will vote in favor. You do have the votes. Board members, if I could get a motion, please.
I make a motion to modify special permit number 23-5012 by replacing condition number 5. Second preference shall be given to Danvers residents in perpetuity, with second preference shall be given to Danvers residents during the initial lease-up period, subject to EOHLC approval, and no other changes are proposed as part of this modification application.
Second.
I've got a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much.
I guess we'll see you again.
Yes.
You're going to see us again on the variance, and perhaps
Okay, well, hopefully
Quickly.
this gets it, will this,
Thank you very much.
Are you able to move forward at any point, or does variance change have to happen before you can move forward?
Things are moving. This will help. This vote tonight will certainly help to keep things moving forward. And then we'll be back, I would say you have a meeting in July, your July 27 or something meeting. That's your next meeting. We'll probably be back then just for purposes of needing to advertise.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good, thank you. Mr. Clerk, if you could.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next case is 69 Center Street, zoned R2. Request for a finding under Table 2, Table of Dimension Requirements, to permit a garage/shed expansion that will encroach into the side setback at 6.9 feet, where 15 feet is required. The request is made by Dennis and Nancy King, docket 26-5137.
Is anybody here on this application? All right, thanks for hanging in there with us. If you could, just go up to the mic, identify yourself, and tell us what it is you'd like to do.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Dennis King. I'm the owner of 69 Center Street, and I'm looking to get approval for a 20-foot addition to my one-car, non-conforming setback garage. So to add on, I'm looking to add directly behind the garage, and therefore the addition would be set back 6.9, and it's kind of angled, so the front of it would be 6.9, but the back goes to 7.3. So I live deep in the heart of the historic district. The Samuel Paris is in my backyard, and my house was built in 1850, and the garage, I would say, was built around 100 years ago. And back then, there was no focus on setbacks. My house does not meet the setback requirements on one side, and my garage does not meet it on the other. The reason for my request is I've been living at this address for almost 40 years now, and in 40 years, you accumulate a lot of stuff. So I've struggled up to this point to try to manage my stuff within my one-car garage and my basement. And my poor lawn tractor has sat outside since the day I bought it. So I want to buy a new one and like to have a place to put it. I have a floor plan that looks like 12 by 13 for a workspace and 7 by 13 for a storage area. The workspace is something that I just feel I need to have to convert it into a workshop or an office area. I was renting a spot at 88 Holton Street for several years, and when they closed that down, I got booted out, and all my stuff is in storage now. So when I thought about doing this, I figured, well, why not create a space that's in my backyard that allows me to do the things that I was doing at 88 Holton Street.
Very good. Anything else you want to present?
No, because the Samuel Paris thing is in my backyard, I tailored my narrative to accommodate both the requirements for zoning as well as the Historical Commission, which, if everything goes well tonight, I'll be meeting with them on the 25th.
Okay. I admire, most people are out buying a antique car or something.
Well, that's
The
what's.
fact that you want to get a new tractor to cut the lawn, that's
Well-
good energy.
I have, my one-car garage has my classic car. in it,
Okay.
so-
Well, there you go. Okay, I'm going to open up the board for some questions, and we'll start down there with you, Chris.
I don't have any questions right at this moment.
Thank you. Ken J.
So it's the side setback that we're talking about there. So it's 6.9 inches now, but then when you build to the back, you're actually going in
Yeah.
the property a little
Yeah,
more.
it kind of, if you looked at the plot plan, I think it would show you how,
It's up here.
how it just kind
I
of,
just threw it up.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Yeah, so you're actually, so we're gaining a little bit, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's longer down the back, but you're not encroaching it anymore
No.
than you already
no.
are.
And my neighbor is totally fine with it, so.
Do we have any letters from the neighbor?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, they're
We
welcome
never-
to speak tonight if they're
Never
here.
received any.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Thank you.
If
Ken,
she had an
Schultz.
issue with it, Joyce would be here, so.
Yep.
Are we,
It's a finding.
right, are we counting the eaves overhangs with the setback? The overhang on the,
Is there any overhang on the shed?
There might
because you
be,
have to include that,
Yeah, the overhang would have
on
to,
the setback.
yeah,
is there an overhang
Like
on the
there's a-
current garage?
maybe a
yes,
little
there is. It's about 4 inches, I think.
And it's going to just mirror that?
Yes, that's my plan.
Because that's what the building
So-
inspector would be measuring
Yeah.
too,
Okay.
just so you're clear.
So I'm assuming he's through you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He's including that?
what we would say is that whatever the dimension is that you are approving, if it's really
He's got to meet that.
Yeah, he's got to meet,
Yeah.
the overhang has to meet that. That's what you're proving. If he,
Okay.
so you need to say whether or not 6.9, well, 6.9 is the end of that garage. That's already there.
Yeah.
It's really the back one that's changing. But yeah, it has to go to the overhang.
Okay. And no one's here from 67 Center Street, correct?
No.
We don't know that yet.
I can ask.
Well, when they ask for public comment.
And,
I have no other questions.
Okay, Corinne?
I just have one. I'm looking at the plot plan that you included as part of your application, and it looks as if at the end of your garage, there's a line that goes through it, but that's not the end of your property. Does your property go all the way up to where 67A is?
I have to look at the plot plan.
I don't think that's a line, Corinne. I think that's a measurement, 45.
No, I know, but that's what I think. It's just the measurement, but does his property include all of Lot A? Does it go all the way up to the end there?
no, it's all of lot one. all of lot one.
No,
Yeah.
Didn't I say Lot 1?
You said lot A?
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant
Yeah.
Lot 1.
Yeah,
I'm
it's all
sorry.
of that.
Lot 1, yeah, that's all,
It's all his lot.
That's all
It's a
mine,
big
yeah.
lot.
Oh,
It
okay.
goes,
It's
it goes,
weird.
it's,
This is why he wants the
it's-
tractor in his
it's-
shed.
I
it looks
guess.
strange because what is the parsonage used to be part of 69 Center Street. In 87, it got split off.
Okay,
And
so that's why it's kind of like the weird shape.
that's why it's
Hard way.
weird, yeah.
It's a weird one.
Okay. Okay, I have no other questions.
Thank you. Kevin?
So I guess I just want to be, I know that we don't have a use variance in front of us, so I just want to make sure that we're,
Finding.
I know. But you mentioned, it almost sounds sort of like you're operating a commercial, you operated a commercial business at 88 Holton,
No.
and now you wish to operate it here?
No. I operate an eBay business, so I,
A what game business, sir?
pardon me?
Oh, I didn't
An
quite hear.
eBay,
An eBay business?
yes, yes.
Home occupation.
Got it. Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that we're not
I'm seeing what you're seeing.
going down the primrose path here and approving light manufacturing in a residential zone or something. So I guess did you give any consideration to building your shed in a place that would be conforming on the lot? Because it doesn't look like it would be impossible.
It's possible, but it would be right smack in the middle of my yard. So if you look to the left of where the proposed shed is, I've only got 45 feet. So that would mean that I got about 25 feet to work with.
Understood.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I don't think I have any questions. I did visit your property yesterday. I get what you're trying to do. The setback issue is already an issue. You're a pre-existing non-conforming. You know, if this shed, if this extension, I don't know, if are we calling it a shed, or are we calling it a garage, or extension of a garage? You know, if you were to make it 15 feet versus 20 feet, you're still gonna have the same setback problem, so.
right, right.
Yeah, I guess I don't really have any questions, so I'll turn this out to the public. Anybody here to speak on, is it 69 Center Street?
No one online either? Oh,
You're up. Doesn't cost anything, except my time. Our time.
Again, Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. Just to clarify something in my mind, might not be the case here. Using the same footprint, you can replace what's there with what you'd like to have, as long as it uses the same footprint, even if it's too close or whatever to a line. Is that right?
Well, he's not really replacing,
No, no,
he's
I-
extending.
Okay, so he's going to
He's
add,
got an existing garage, already does not meet the setback. Now he's gonna build onto the back of it to increase the nonconformity
okay, all right.
with that same setback, staying in line with the building that's already there. So if you were to see it from the street, it won't look any different.
If you see it.
Just
from
be
the-
longer, you can't see it from the street.
All right, I was just, in my
But
mind.
you'll see his tractor is not in the yard anymore. So
it-
that could be a win for the neighbors, the way I look at
I
it.
was just curious because in the past, I know it had come up, as long as you use the same footprint, even though it might not be.
Correct, if he was knocking this structure down, that's right. He probably wouldn't even be here. He'd be pulling a permit.
yeah, well, this is not a tear down. He's not building on the same footprint.
tearing
He's doubling,
down,
he's
he's
doubling the footprint.
Modifying.
The opposite of that.
I'll try to remember that for the future.
I actually do have one more question.
Thank you.
Sorry. I did, sorry, Dennis. There's no plumbing in this structure currently, and no plan to put plumbing in?
No.
And this will be a slab on grade? This will be a?
Slab, yeah.
Slab, very good.
Yeah.
Any additional questions from the public? Hearing, seeing none, nobody online. Chris, we will come back and deliberate, and I started with you.
I will vote in favor with this.
Very good. Ken,
I'll vote for this.
sorry, gotta get my little scorecard here. And Ken Schultz.
I'll vote for this.
Karine,
I will vote for this.
and I too will vote for this. We're looking for a finding, members, if I could get a motion.
Let's see. I make a motion to grant a finding under Table 2, Table of Dimensional Requirements to permit a garage shed expansion that will encroach into the side setback at 6.9 feet where 15 feet is required, and that the proposed extension alteration of the structure is not substantially more detrimental than the existing structure to the neighborhood.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good. Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy the new tractor.
Yeah.
I think you're more excited about the
I
tractor.
know, you know, every
than
time
he
I get
is.
a chance to cut grass on a tractor, I take it, so. Okay. Mr. Clerk, moving along.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next case is 9 Lawrence Street, zoned R1. Requests a variance under Table 2, Table of Dimensional Requirements of the Danvers zoning bylaw to construct a shed that will be located closer to the side property line than permitted as of right, 7.5 feet where 8 feet is required. The request is made by Eduardo Gonzalez, docket 26-5139.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Eduardo Gonzalez. I live at 9 Lawrence Street, Danvers, Massachusetts. With me is my wife, Angela Perez. She is also owner of the property. I seek a variance to the 8-foot setback based on the shape of that lot. As you can see, it's a pork shop-shaped lot, and that pork shop part is 27 feet wide. Not much good for anything except horseshoes or archery. So looking to do something with it. We had a shed, the shed was rotting, tore down the shed. We would like permission to build a 12-foot by 20-foot shed. And it would be, the variance would be on the sides. We would put it 10 feet from the rear property line, where 8 feet are required, so 2 extra feet, so that don't crowd those folks. And then the setback would be half a foot on either side. That's what it is.
Okay, anything else you want to present?
No, it would be simply for storage of lawn equipment. We would be interested in putting electricity, but no plumbing, for lights, or maybe to put a small shop in there, if possible, at some point in the future. But that would have to go through the building department, which would be the next step if we are granted the variance. You may have questions about the recent work we did at the property. Happy to answer any of that, or any other question that you have.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to the board. Kevin, start with you.
No questions, thank you.
Karine?
I don't really have any questions, just a comment. This is the second time you're appearing in front of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Next time, we need to make these a little bigger.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. No questions.
Ken?
Thank you. Is this shed where the old shed was?
No, sir. It's about, I did submit 2 plans. The first plan shows where the
I see.
where the other shed was.
I see it. No further questions, thank you.
Old shed.
Okay.
Thank you, Kareem.
The first, go ahead, Ken, Jay, sorry.
So the older shed, how close was that to the side setback?
2 feet,
Yeah,
a foot and a half.
It was even closer. It
Yeah.
was probably, 2-3 feet.
And I take it that's under the 10 by 12 size. That's allowed by right.
Well, it's out. It's gone now.
It's gone.
He
It's
destroyed
gone.
it. It's
Yeah.
destroyed.
Very good.
Yeah.
So the new one's an improvement. It just looks like it's not centered. So to me, it looks like it's, but you said it's in the center. It's 7.5 on both sides, right?
It's 27 feet wide, that strip. And so we seek permission to
Put it right in the
build-
middle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it just looks like that's off to my untrained eye.
So, if I may interrupt, so the, part of my memo said that, so we would need a certified plot plan showing where the proposed shed is. And this is perfectly fine for our purposes, but to get a building permit, you need to get, so you have a certified plot plan here, but you would have to have them put the proposed shed with the location of 7.5
So
on either
you
side.
realize that, you're going to need to get it
The
surveyed.
survey.
No, it's already been, this is a recent plan.
Right.
They just basically,
gonna have to
before they got
update it.
the plan on
You're aware.
certified.
Gotta add the
yeah.
shed. to
I am
it.
now, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Additional questions?
Nope, all set.
Chris?
Is there any access to this shed from the rear of your property? Just strictly from the long walk to it?
No, sir. It's the long walk.
You gonna have a tractor in there so you can get back and forth to the house quicker, or?
I have 2 sons. They need exercise.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, I just have one question. I visited your site yesterday. I guess, is there a carport or something on the right-hand side of your property?
There's 2 driveways. In the 80s, that house was a 2-unit house.
Two-family, yeah.
And so there was 2 driveways. The driveway on the right used to extend all the way to the back. Before we bought the house, the second unit was made back into a single-family home, and the folks who sold it to us redid the entire house. So when we bought it, let's say it's 3 levels plus a basement. All 3 levels were one house. The thing that we tore down last year was the stairs, which were originally servicing the second apartment. That might be what you're calling a carport, sir.
No, this is external to the property. It looks like, it's almost like a tent, or was I looking at the wrong
Like
property?
a hoop house kind of thing, I think
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
they're
like a
called.
blue awning kind of thing that you park under, a car,
No, sir. I have no awnings.
on the right side of the property.
No awnings, sir. There's
Not an awning, a car, it's called a carport, temporary structure.
No, sir.
I think that's the neighbor.
Yeah, it has to be the.
That's the other side.
Okay.
It's like a blue tarp. I know what you're talking
You
about.
saw the same thing.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
not their property. I think
Not
it's
their property.
Right next
Okay.
the house to the right. Yeah.
And you are aware if you did a 10 by 12 shed, you could encroach the setback if you did a smaller shed.
If I did a smaller shed, yes, sir.
Yeah.
The entire purpose of this was to get permission to utilize the property to the most I could. I mean, it's 122 feet. I could build a 10 by 122 feet and not need permission, but that would be awkward.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't have any additional
Bowling
questions.
alley?
Yeah, indoor archery.
I'll go out to the public
Recommend.
on this. Anybody here on 9 Lawrence Street? Hearing, seeing none, I will come back. I think I started with you, Chris. No, I started with Kevin, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
But I don't.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
sorry, and
deliberate.
Kevin, you won't be
Yep.
delivering. Corrine
I will vote for this.
and Ken Scholes.
I will vote for this. I think it's fine.
Ken J.
I'll vote for this as well.
And Chris.
And I will vote as well. I like what you've done with the house. It's beautiful compared to what it used to look like.
And I too see this as long as you understand that you are going to need to get your certified plot plan updated for the town to be able to spot the new location. So I too will vote for it. And with that said, could I get a motion on this variance?
I make a motion to grant a variance issued under Table 2, Table of Dimensional Requirements of the Danvers zoning bylaw to construct a shed that will be located closer to the side property line than permitted as of right, 7.5 feet where 8 is required, and that this condition does not affect other properties or structures in the same zoning district. A literal enforcement of the zoning bylaw would involve substantial hardship to the applicant. Granting this variance waiver would not create a substantial detriment to the public good and will not nullify or derogate from the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You got it.
Do they want to continue?
It never went through at all. It never went to public.
Oh.
So they just,
Which one didn't?
18 water.
Oh,
That never got advertised, so that case got.
gone forever, or is
Should we
it
keep the
continued?
packet, or are they going to have to refile?
Oh,
they
beautiful.
didn't have to refile.
I mean, I have everything that you should.
They weren't doing what they said they were.
Nice.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if we could read in our final case.
Our final case is 34 Endicott Street. This is Danversport Industrial Zone. Requests a finding under 3.11 of the Danvers zoning bylaw to construct an accessory building that will be located closer to the front property lines, Endicott Street, 6.9 feet, and Appleton Street, 7.1 feet, then permitted as of right, which is 50 feet. Request is made by Keith Oakley, docket 26-5140.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Bill Nolan, Savoy Nolan Architects, here representing Keith, the owner of Patriot Fence Crafters at 34 Endicott Street in Danvers. Just a little history about the business. Patriot Fence Crafters is a local fence installation contractor. Who has their headquarters here in Danvers on Endicott Street. Company's been in business for approximately 30 years and have operated in Danvers for over 10. The property description, property is located within the Danversport Industrial Zoning District, which is different than what the assessors listed as. And fronts on 2 Street, Endicott Street to the north and Appleton to the east. So to the north, it's hard without a, there is Crane River. You can see the kind of dark gray, yep. Crane River to the north, and then a small neighborhood just to the northwest. That's Needham Street. And if you go to the next slide, there is a picture of Needham Street. So this is the second to last house on Needham Street, and I just want to point out the hedge or the trees kind of buffering the neighborhood from Endicott Street, and then beyond Endicott Street would be our property. One more slide. And this is the end of Needham Street. This is, again, across the street of Endicott, next to the Crane River, and you can see the vegetated buffer extends all the way down. To the east is, this is taken from the property, basically where we're proposing the proposed building, looking down Appleton into the residential neighborhood. But there's a buffer between our property and the residential neighborhood, as you can see to the right. This is looking straight down Appleton Road to that first house that on the corner. Endicott Street is all the way to the left. One more slide. If you continue down Appleton, directly across from our property is a parking lot within the vegetated woodland, separating Appleton, this piece of Appleton in the neighborhood. As you can see, it's a pretty thick buffer between the residential zone and our zone. Continuing. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is just the GIS map. To the west is, first, there's about 97 feet of abandoned railroad owned by the B&M Railroad. And then right beyond that is the, I just want to get Brightview Senior Living Center. That railroad is about 97 foot wide. And then finally, to the south, you'll see that's the industrial park there. It's got two businesses that are pretty far away, but it's the Tennessee Gas Transmission Company and the Chemical Development Corporation, and those are the big buildings to the south. So the existing site conditions, I wanted to point out a few things regarding the site. First, if you can go one more slide, and then we'll have to go back to that, actually. Okay, so this is our site plan that we proposed, a schematic site plan, and if you see the box located in the middle, that's their buildable area. If we were to meet the required setbacks for this property, and obviously there's no viable buildable area within the site. So I wanted to point that out. If you could go back up one, back to the previous slide, thank you. Along Endicott Street, there's approximately a 25-foot slope terrain between the property line and the existing sidewalk with an elevation change of about 12 feet. If you go 2 slides forward, you'll see this in section. So this is a picture kind of looking at the property on Appleton. Endicott is to the right. That slope there is about 25 feet if you're looking at it in bird's eye view, and it's an elevation change of about 12 feet. Can you go back one slide from that? Yeah. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to point out is Patriot Fence currently maintains agreements with B&M Railroad and Boston Gas Company to have accessory structures and storage on their properties. So they've maintained that. So that's when you'll see our site plan, some of the buildings go beyond the property lines, but that's an agreement that Patriot Fence has with the property owners. And then finally, if you can go back up one more, sorry. You can take a look at it. It's a very congested lot. It's a small property. They're trying to make the best out of it. But if you can see, the vehicle circulation in there can get pretty tricky. So those are the things that I wanted to point out with the existing site. Moving on to the project description. So the goal of this project is to construct a building that consolidates a workshop space and interior storage into a single permanent structure. During the design process, we evaluated several potential building locations and configurations on the site. The proposal before you was ultimately selected because it best meets the operational needs while minimizing the impacts on the surrounding property. The proposed location, you can see there shaded, keeps the entire operation on land owned by Patriot Fence, while the arrangements that they have with the adjacent landowners have historically worked. They rely on third-party ownership and could be affected by future changes. The second is that it provides sufficient space for the workshop functions and material storage. The other thing is that we sought to maintain safe vehicle access from Appleton Street, utilizing the existing driveway, minimizing trucks or cars coming onto the site, having to do, turning. And then lastly, it allows the business to remain operational during construction. Benefits to the town include, the town and the surrounding area include much of the material storage and work activity that currently occurs outdoors will be moved inside at the proposed building. Consolidating these activities indoors will improve the site organization, enhance safety, and reduce visual impacts associated with the outdoor storage. Project also represents an investment in a long-established local business and will support its continued operation and growth within the town of Danvers. Another part of the design process is we consulted with the town. I met with Brian and Josh Morris to review the concept before we submitted an application to you to discuss potential concerns. The meeting was really productive and provided a lot of valuable feedback to shape the proposal before you tonight. Why are we here? The reason we're before the board tonight is to request a finding under section 3.11 of the Danvers zoning bylaws relating to alterations and extensions of non-conforming structures. Specifically, we're seeking relief to extend the existing non-conforming front setbacks as follows. Along Endicott Street, from the existing setback of approximately 47 feet to a proposed setback of 6.9 feet, and along Appleton Street, from an existing setback of approximately 20.2 to a proposed setback of 7.1. Given the unique site constraints surrounding buffers, industrial zone contacts, and operational benefits of the proposal, we believe the project will be substantially will not be more substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood and the existing conditions, and it's consistent with the intent of section 3.11. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Nolan. Before I turn it over to the board, I guess you mentioned one thing I just want to get clarity on. You have existing leases with abutters to have storage
The buildings and the
containers, I
storage.
guess, or on the, will those go away as this building, proposed building, if this were approved? Would those existing storage locations be removed?
I believe he's going to maintain the agreements that he has in place, at least for the interim. The goal is that a majority of it will be put into the building. The building is we've selected the building to fit within the space, maintain what we are considering reasonable setbacks when you also include the setback from the street that's there. So we chose the size of the building, to work with the site as best we could. And then we're limited to that box in terms of what he can store. So there's going to be a significant amount of it. A significant amount of it, and all of it will be all the storage that is closest to the street, closest to the neighborhoods, that will be replaced with an indoor building. So I would argue that where it's most important, that is going to be removed. So
Okay.
hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, all right.
That is correct, right? You're going to maintain your lease with the,
I'll start down there with Chris.
Hey, Bill.
Hey.
Two double doors, are those facing Appleton Street?
Yes.
Okay, and how about any water, sewer, anything going into the building?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we didn't include that, and we can go through the actual plans. They're so simple that I kind of bypassed them. We're not including anything and prefer not to. However, I've had another project in Reading, a utility building for a golf course, Meadowbrook, and the town required per plumbing code that there be a bathroom installed. I have a feeling that this is going to trigger that too. We, just as an aside, we appealed because it really wasn't necessary and they didn't want to incur the cost of putting it in there. We appealed to the plumbing board. They denied it, so we were forced to put it in. If that were the case, it would be out of our hands. And they'll obviously be electric.
So you do anticipate it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that's contingent on you guys making a determination, I would put it in the proposal.
Yeah, it wouldn't be us, it would be any stormwater permit or any other permit you would potentially need through them, but it wouldn't be something that the ZBA would put on, that there has to be a bathroom in this building. If the building code requires it, it requires it.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Kenjay.
There's a residential building on there, a house?
Yeah, so his headquarters right now was a former residence that now they're used, there's no residents living there now, it's just a headquarters for them.
So it's just the office?
Yeah.
Okay, and I noticed there wasn't any other residents around there?
No,
It's
just the neighborhoods that I pointed out.
Yeah, behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Appleton.
Can you fast forward to the you can just, are you interested in seeing the floor? I mean, we can go through them. It's just a rectangle, if you just want to back up a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, one more.
Yep.
Or two more.
Two more.
The other way. And one more. So real quickly, fastest plan you'll ever see. It's a big rectangle.
Workshop mezzanine?
Yep. Just a single stair going up, mezzanine, the storage, the workshop area is going to be, exactly that. There's two doors kind of pulling in. Go to the next slide, please. Elevations. So this is, taking the hill away from it and just, a box as if it was built kind of on flat land. That first upper left-hand corner, that's the front elevation. Two garage doors with a small little roof, more for decoration than anything. And then a few windows at the top. That upper right-hand elevation is a little deceiving in that you won't see the bottom 2/3 of that building because of the hill. You'll only see the very top of the roof, and hopefully we'll get some natural light into those windows. The bottom left is the rear facing the railroad. We were proposing to put a back door there just to allow things to come in and out. And then the facade that's facing the existing house that's being used as the headquarters is lower right. There's a man door to get in and out, some glass on the upper level to provide some natural light. And then lastly, it's kind of a before and after. This is a computer model that we did and kind of superimposed the best that we could on an existing photograph that we took a couple weeks ago. To the left is existing, how it exists, and to the right would be the building kind of superimposed on that.
And that's Endicott Street to the right?
Endicott is to the right up the hill.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
on that Appleton kind of drive, looking directly at the proposed building.
Yeah.
And that's where the outdoor storage is, contractor yard, if you will. It would be taking the place of that.
So is that a steel construction,
Yeah, metal building.
metal building?
Yep.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ken Schultz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bill, what did we say the width of the B&M Railroad area was? 97 feet?
It's 96 point,
97?
yeah, it's 96.9, if we want to be
So-
specific.
Two things.
Yeah.
What if you made the building 30 by 40 and shuffled it back to the west into the B&M Railroad area? Wouldn't you
Well-
be more conforming in a couple of different setbacks?
Maybe, but it's arguably, you could make that argument, but it would be putting a building on a third-party property, which we're really trying to stay away from.
Which you already have now.
Those are somewhat
Just-
temporary. We're going to be investing a lot into this building, so we don't want to put it on a property that could potentially change. The existing buildings, those already exist. If those, for property change, had to come down, he could still operate his business. We don't want to do that with a brand-new building that he's putting his,
So the agreement doesn't say that you can put another building encroaching that space?
I haven't read the agreements with a fine-tooth comb. Do you happen to know that? If you were to put another building that, I mean, we really don't want to do it, so it's
I
kind
know
of
you
a
don't
moot
want to
point,
do it, but I'm trying to get you more conforming.
yeah. That's not going to work for us, though. We're not going to invest a building that's on multiple properties, so that would have to, if there's, we're open to suggestions, but that one I don't think is going to work for us.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. Karine?
Is this business more of like a 7 to 3 or 9 to 5 business?
7 to 5.
Okay,
Bill, could, for the record, can you answer? Or that gentleman?
7 to
come
5.
okay.
Thank you.
And this gentleman might have to answer the next one. How many people are working there? Because you've taken up a lot of space. Have you eliminated too many of the parking spaces for employees?
There's actually no parking where we're proposing it. The parking is that little parking lot across the street.
Okay.
You may see vehicles there from time to time, like loading, but that's why we have the garage doors there, is that they would be loading inside. Yep, so the answer is no, we're not removing any parking space.
All right, so it doesn't impact parking. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, that's all I have.
Kevin?
So I guess I'm just trying to figure out who's who. We have a quitclaim deed that shows, I believe, Loretta Cooper as the owner of the property. And if that's not the current owner, I'm just trying to figure out why we have that in our packet.
It's tricky for us sometimes to find the quick, that might be our fault. Maybe we grabbed the wrong one.
Good guy.
The locus says 34 Endicott.
It's the original owner, yeah, so I think we might have just grabbed an older one by accident.
Okay, so who's the owner of the property now?
Keith.
Just state the name for the record, Bill.
Keith Oakley.
And Mr. Oakley owns it personally, or it's owned through, 34 Endicott
Why don't
LLC?
you come
or-
up, introduce yourself?
JKS Endicott Realty LLC is the current owner.
Hi, Keith Oakley, I own Patriot Fence and JKS Realty, which owns the building, but it's the same people.
Oh.
So Patriot leases from JKS just as a kind of formality.
I see. And
How
are,
did you buy it, Keith?
It's around 10 years ago.
okay.
Continue, Kevin.
No, I did notice, I think it was visible on Google Earth. I know this is kind of the reason for the building, you're going to clean it all up, but are there some, temporary storage containers, like ISO kind of containers out there in the lot now?
Yes,
Okay. Are you
on the leased side.
generally aware that Danvers has a bylaw specifically about those kinds of containers, and you can only have them for so many months of the year? And I know
Well, not
This is what
in
we're trying to-
industrial, though. No?
No, it's still 6 months.
Yeah.
It is still 6 months, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, to make you aware, Danvers has a bylaw about those containers. I understand that what we're doing here is to maybe alleviate all that, but, just know that, if that weren't corrected, if the board were to approve this and that still were not corrected.
We can work with the
We can
applicant.
make a
Yeah,
condition.
you may see Mr. Zakeli again.
Duly noted.
Additional questions?
No,
So
nothing
on that
additional,
thread, Bill, would you take a condition to be sure that situation's rectified prior to permit? Let me ask it another way. How long's the container been on site? Sounds like forever.
A year.
Yeah, so it's in violation, right?
Okay.
It's only 6 months. Speaking of violations, though, because I've seen from time to time the flag banner signs hanging up there, which also are not allowed. I see they're not up now, currently. I don't know if the enforcement officer ever got to the point of issuing a letter, but they aren't allowed by our bylaws. I noticed there is a stand for one still on site, so that says to me it probably comes up and goes down, but I just want to also point that out. And then there's signage on the fences, and I'll go to the building planning director on this. I don't believe that's allowed either.
I mean, it is allowed, but it is counted towards their allotted signage.
Yeah, and I think I see you have a quantity of 3 of them right now that are rather large, correct, on the fences?
Yeah, go ahead.
And if you could, into the microphone so we can hear you.
Yeah, this was our 30th anniversary and the 250th anniversary, so we're doing like some combined signs, so that's why we're having some extra signage.
Yeah, but they're not permitted,
Okay,
so they'd have to come down
okay,
or get a variance to add them.
okay.
Yeah. So with that said, my questions around this proposed building, did we consider, something slightly smaller? Or would we consider something slightly smaller to maybe help with that setback a little?
Which setback?
The 6.9,
The Endicott Street one?
yeah. I realized you're back 25 feet,
Yeah.
but
So the,
I guess just elaborate. Have you, you got a 30 by 60 here. Is there any other sizes that were considered?
yeah, sure. Certainly, the different locations, different sizes. We have considered that. The 30 is a pretty standard metal building size, especially with the 2 doors, to allow the trucks to pull in, load up, and then pull back out. We were careful in selecting what we thought was an appropriate size. Again, counting the fact that it's down 12 feet from the Endicott Street and with a pretty sizable buffer there, which takes the separation from Endicott Street, which is very busy street, to the proposed building to be about 34 feet.
Okay. I think that's all I had. It is a sloped roof, correct? And I saw a height of 29 feet. Is that correct?
Yeah, 29.
29 feet is the height, and it's a sloped roof.
Yes,
And that's to the midpoint?
yes.
Very good.
To the ridge.
What's the overall height?
That is the overall height.
29 feet is the
Yeah, that's
overall
not
height.
to the mid.
Okay. I don't think I have any additional questions. I'm not sure you answered those. So a smaller building, it could be on the table, or this is really what you
I
landed
mean,
at?
this is what we're asking for.
I get the 30 width. Is there any chance of reducing to 60?
I said 30 by 40.
Yeah, or maybe somewhere in between.
Because you'd get 27 and a half over here.
Yeah, so the space is being used for basically a contractor yard right now, so.
So you're
the-
just replacing that
Yeah,
space?
and the smaller we make this, the less stuff we can put in there. The less stuff, more, which means more stuff outside. So I think it's in the, if I can politely urge the board to consider the best use of the space for the town as well as us, I think the design that we have strikes a good balance. We've done a lot of vetting internally as a team, but also with the town as well too. So I'm not trying to be difficult.
Yeah, no, got it. All right, board members, any additional questions before I go out to the public? Yeah, Kevin, go ahead.
So is there, and I know that I probably have the as-built right now here somewhere, but is there an existing building in that footprint right now?
No.
No, it's
So-
just a contract.
So I guess I'm trying to understand your request for a finding under section 3.11.
So here, this is a weird, we go back to that.
Yep.
Because of this is in the Danversport industrial zone,
Okay.
the setbacks are like 50 feet, 75 feet.
Right.
That type of thing. So here, look, you can't even tell that this is the box. So that long rectangle, and you see that's the development area.
Inside of that.
Inside of there. So everything's a fine. So therefore, they're already too close.
What, no, but the section they've applied for a finding under is for non-conforming structures.
Correct.
Okay, so just follow me for a second here.
This is a new structure.
This is a new structure. There is
Right.
not a non-conforming structure that you're requesting to alter, change, or extend. This is a new structure. So, I'm not saying that there's no relief that this applicant could possibly get, but they haven't applied under the correct, they haven't applied under the correct section, which means we're probably not applying the correct test. Because although the applicant could request relief from this board to build this structure, I have a sneaking suspicion that what they need is a variance, not a finding. And this is a completely incorrect application.
What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Bill?
The fact that the building is, I mean, I don't know if we can play games and connect the building and then it's connected. I mean,
That's kind of so the fact that there is an existing building that is, the existing building is encroaching on every setback at the moment. The existing building, number 34. It's
Right.
encroaching on every setback except for the rear, I guess. It's possible maybe we need to think about this. Maybe it is a continuance, but, I'm only second guessing myself here. But I don't know what the relief would be. I don't know if this is a variance, because that can only be when there is no nonconformity. So
I understand, but it's not, I think it's up to the board to grant relief or not based on what is asked for.
correct,
Right, so.
correct.
To me, I don't understand why this paragraph applies, because we're not talking about an existing non-conforming structure.
I didn't see it that way, but I can see that this is worthy of maybe a little more study.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, Kevin, is this, you feel this is more in the variance
It-
request versus the finding.
It could be.
It could be. I think he's saying
It could be.
could
What I'm saying is the request that, as it's presented, isn't appropriate. I don't see how the board could grant the relief requested, because it's not,
Not an
it's
existing-
not an existing non-conforming structure. It's a brand-new structure.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards that as well. But let's keep chugging along here. Board members, additional questions before I go out to the public? Yeah, Chris?
It's probably pretty easy. The trees that are along Endicott right now?
Yeah.
Are those going to stay?
correct, they will.
So, I mean, you really won't see much of this building this time of year anyways?
No.
Thank you.
Very good. I will go out to the public. We're here on 34 Endicott?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, I'm Bill McKenzie, Precinct 3, Town Meeting Member. This is in my precinct. I think this would be an addition to make it look nicer and better in that property. I've dealt with the company a few times myself, very professional. I think what he's trying to do is make it more professional for his workers, safer, and a lot easier for them to make their product for the people in Danvers.
So you'd be in favor of this?
Absolutely.
And do you think it's a variance or a finding?
That is kind of gray.
That's up to us.
Well, at first I thought, I heard the thing like, all right, they're going to tear down the house, when I first looked into this, and I said, no, now I can see what they're doing. And I don't know, it's up to you guys how you
Well, you can see where we're at, right? So we would look at a finding as if they were modifying that house.
Yeah, if they're going to put
But
a
they're
bay
not
window.
modifying the house, they're adding a whole new structure.
Like
So
if they wanted to put
I
a bay
think that
window in
kicks
the
it into
house, yeah.
variance.
That's up to you guys.
Yeah.
I've seen gray areas before. I've seen a lot in Danvers.
You're not a direct abutter, correct?
No.
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 Okay, anything else? Any other
Nope,
comments?
that's it.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else? Well, board members, before we deliberate, we could continue this. We could go back to the drawing board a little bit here, and maybe go a little deeper. I definitely get Kevin's argument.
I would say that you should not vote for something that you don't think is going to do the job.
Yeah, I think.
So
You understand where we're at with this, Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Yeah, because I agree with Kevin. I mean, if we were modifying the existing building, with, you know, a pre-existing non-conformity, and we're increasing that non-conformity.
The fact that it's detached, can I ask the board a question and maybe
Sure.
Brian, a question through the board is if this was attached to the building in the way.
I think that changes.
Then there's no doubt.
Yeah, okay.
I think you'd have a better chance at a finding than you would a variance.
Well, yeah, we're just talking
Definitely.
about
Well,
what is the application.
Yeah.
If the thing is attached,
need to
there's
research.
no
If you're
doubt
applying-
it's a finding.
If you're applying on
Yeah.
a 311, right, then if it's attached via a breezeway or something.
We'd like a continuance.
They're gonna draw up a.
So you're gonna modify this?
Save you guys some
We'll
time.
continue this to June 22nd?
The next meeting.
June 22nd?
Does that work? Is that enough time?
Can you get plans in a week?
We
Yes.
would need it the
week.
Tuesday prior to the 22nd.
Week from now, yeah.
Do you have room for us?
We'll make, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
right, so we only had one meeting in May, we only have one meeting in July. If you look on our board, in the office, we have a lot for the next 2 or 3 months, and that's just the way it's gonna be, so.
Okay.
We have a lot, so that's it.
Do you want to hear some comments beforehand, just
Sure.
so we can make sure we get all this
Yeah,
squared away?
definitely.
Chris, I started down there with you.
As long as you go easy on me, though.
I like that you're keeping the trees, and I do like the elevation, but I'll save my comments to the end. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm all set, thank you.
No comments. Ken? Just
Well,
comments that they may need.
Just back to that, I mean, so is it the property or the building? Because there's existing non-conformance on the property. So, I mean, but they have to be, so I mean, so are we going, is it mutually exclusive, the building to the property, or is it, because, I mean, it's, the property is existing
so-
non-conformance?
The bylaw, we don't have to get into the details at this point, but basically, it talks about non-conforming structures and non-conforming properties. There is a gray area. I'm gonna make that gray area black or white by next time, but I have a feeling that either way, they're gonna have, hey, if you guys feel that this is a finding, I'm gonna give you this plan, and if you guys feel it's not a finding, I'll come back in I'll come back for the next time to do a variance. It
Re-advertise.
sounds like that's where we're at.
That makes sense?
Yep, but I will make it much more clear. I wasn't thinking about it through this lens, so
So
I'll
either
admit,
way,
I
it's
admit a
continued.
mistake, and, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ken?
So put it this way, I think it's too big, first of all. If it was a finding and we were, somehow attached, I'd probably be a yes. If it was this way as a variance, I'd be a no.
Okay.
So,
Great.
That's information.
I actually like the fact that you're taking everything that's outside and putting it in somewhere. I'm not a huge fan of these contractor yards, so if we can eliminate it, I'm on board for that. So that's my comment.
My comment before, because Kevin doesn't get to comment. Good catch.
Yes, very
And
good
Bill,
catch.
I think if this were to be connected somehow to the existing building, I would hope maybe that comes with a slight reduction in the size of the building. But I, like Ken, I think if this was a straight variance, I would like to see maybe slightly smaller, not in width, but maybe in length, 50 feet, something like that. You do the breezeway, maybe that can be also utilized in some way to make up that difference. I don't know. But that's just my opinion. So with that said, we're gonna continue this. I'm gonna ask for a motion to continue this to June 22nd, and we'll get updated plans and direction from our planning director on whether this is gonna have to be a variance and re-advertised, or we're going to stick with this finding, and here's the modified plan. But we're all on the same page there?
I'm sorry, so what you're going to decide is if the current proposal,
I'm gonna reassess the application for whether or not this is the correct relief that you applied for the proposed building.
so as submitted, and then if you determine that as submitted, it requires a variance, then the
I'll make it clear to you and the board.
continuance, okay?
Yep.
Okay, great.
And then we would then, at that point, we would have to deny the finding if we felt that you wanted to move forward with that application and only that application as a detached building. We would say that we can't give you this relief, you're denied for essentially the wrong application, and then we're just essentially 3 months behind.
Yeah, and I'm trying to avoid that for the client's sake. So let me ask you a question. If, assuming that we are going to find the current proposal is going to require a variance for the situation that,
Okay, assuming that, yeah.
yeah, then, and we do a connected building, does that require a resubmission,
No,
re-advertisement?
no.
Okay.
If you're giving revised plans to get the relief you need, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're
Great.
gonna go through the finding, you're gonna attach the building with some type of breezeway or some other design element. You don't need to re-advertise, you can just come, give me plans in a week and we're ready to rock.
Okay, thank you.
Make sense?
Yep.
Good. Board members, if I could get a motion to continue this to June 22nd.
I make a motion, we continue 34 Endicott Street, docket 26-5140, to our June 22nd meeting.
I second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good. We'll see you on the 22nd, and please, plans ahead of time.
Yep, thank you.
You got it. And with that said, board members, unless you got anything, Brian?
No, nothing to say tonight.
And will somebody make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night.
Good night, Danvers.
Good night.